Hello, boys. I'm used to that opening, but today it's just hello, boy. Ajay, welcome to Sports Entertainment Weekly. It's just the two of us, La Liga bros, talking UCL match card. Um, I don't think it should deter us at all that it's just us because Spanish football had a night to remember in the UCL over the 2 days. I think it's going to be a fun discussion.
Yeah, in general, it was a really good round of fixtures. So yeah,
Yeah,
but all the Spanish teams had Real Madrid game was the most boring game, but I think other than that, two really good games, two really good games.
yeah. So we have had what? We are nearing the final match day. What is your verdict on the new format? Do you see it's interesting? Is it keeping you the edge of your seat as it promised us to?
Yeah, I think it's definitely different. Whether it's
Mm,
good or bad, I can't. We really cannot choose right now because I think there is still one more match day. We have to look at the table eventually after the eighth match day, and we have to see who is where. But I mean, one
yeah.
good thing is Manchester City might get eliminated, so which is never going to happen in the previous format. And Real Madrid really needed this victory coming into seventh match day. They really needed this victory, and they had.
Mm,
And getting like a good goal difference was also very necessary. So I would say in that way, teams like Real Madrid and Manchester City needing to be there, playing their full team by match day 7 is a victory for the format, because in the previous format we have seen so many instances, sixth match day, fifth match day, teams won't play their
yeah.
first choice 11 because they would have won 4 games or whatever by then.
Yeah.
So but yeah, we need to as I said, we need to see how the table looks.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The fact that we are waiting till the final match day to see where Madrid eventually end up and if City can even make it. I guess that is worth it for all the fuss over ECL and UEFA panicking and switching to this format, promising blockbuster fixtures in the earlier stages of the tournament. Hopefully, we can still walk away with some entertainment as neutral fans. Getting into the games, I'm so glad that we played. What is this? The seventh game, if I'm not mistaken.
Seventh match day,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I guess that settles the debate right there for me because in the old format you would have only had 6 games in the group stages and you wouldn't have gotten this ultimate thriller between Benfica and Barca in another world. So I guess I can't complain much. What a game, man. I think there is only a handful of games that I've seen in the last 15 years that has been absolutely maddening. And let's not pretend like it was, this grade A quality football that we are used to seeing with Barca. It was like a Sunday league game in its truest fashion, comical errors, you know, goalkeeper
I will
mistakes.
Sashni, I think both the goalkeepers played a very pivotal part in making this game as great as it looks
I
right
know,
now.
right?
Because
And
with them doing
offside.
their job properly, it'll be nowhere near this. So both the goalkeepers played a part, and it's, I know football purists are gonna like look at this and say like there are so many goalkeeping mistakes. It's not such a great game. Not great. Everything is fine, but I think you need these silly games like. But and 5-4 is as silly a game can get. That is like that scoreline itself like tells the
I
entire
know,
story.
right? I think
Yeah,
last time Barca was part of a 5-4, we had your Liverpool boy Coutinho score a hat trick for us.
yeah.
I
It was against
think it
Levante.
was Levante.
Levante.
We
Yeah,
ultimately ended up on the losing side in that game despite
yeah,
Coutinho's best effort. So it was nice to be on the right side of the final result in this game.
yeah. And I think the ultimate drama, like the cherry on top, was that Rafinha goal, not just because it's the winner, because there was a penalty check on the other end, and we had to go to VAR.
Oh
And that
my
1 minute,
god.
imagine being in that stadium for that 1 minute of VAR check. It's like, yeah, it's like,
That's true, no?
yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't I would have hated it if I were a Benfica fan. And there is case to be made that it was a legitimate penalty. In fact, of all the 3 other penalties that were awarded, this was probably the one that most deserved to be a penalty, in my opinion. But the other three
I would
actually
say
went.
all three of them are 50-50.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it from like when we are done with the game or whatever, looking at it in Twitter, it could look like a more of 80-20. It should have been a penalty or whatever. That is fine. But I think at that moment, I can understand the referee looking at it and saying 50-50, or they are looking at saying 50-50, you take the call or whatever.
yeah,
So it's like,
that's true.
yeah, it's like these penalties. I don't think it was 100% penalty. I didn't
Yeah,
look at it and
absolutely.
say it is
Like
a
I
penalty,
said,
they have to
only
give
the
it. So
fourth
yeah,
penalty,
yeah,
which was never given
yeah.
against Barca, everything else was 50-50. And I guess I'm relieved because I know Barca gets a lot of stick for being the favorites, and
Yeah.
I think it's actually undeserved in a way that we get robbed in league week in and week out, man. You could be a Madrid fan, but if we are being honest about it, we literally had a goal ruled against Madrid after it crossed the line because we don't have goal line technology. We once lost the title because of that. And every week you have like some challenge or another, including El Clasico, where Barca generally doesn't get favorable calls when it comes to
No, no,
domestic
no.
outreach.
You don't like generalize like that. If you say past week we didn't get that, I will say okay. Like generally, like we lose title, like that and all is a bit too much for me.
It's true, man.
Like when you say we lose
Uh,
titles and everything, it's like you could have scored more goals in another game,
oh,
whatever
wow.
games you didn't lose. So it's like it's never one game or one moment
Yeah,
without
sure.
being
And
decided.
Liverpool could have won games when other referees were on the pitch, and the whole issue when
No, no,
David.
let's not go there. Let's get back to let's get
Sure.
back to let's get
So
back to the
I'd like
actual
to address
discussion.
Kannan's point about okay, it's in Tamil. The translation being
Yeah,
Barca's highline is
yeah,
terrible
it
than
is.
Spurs.
I
I
think the
have
high
no.
line is still fine if you have a good goalkeeper, which you don't have. Which you don't have. Szczesny in Juventus, I would say, was never really required to play this way. So I know modern football has changed and Szczesny has been there, but I think in his team, in the team that he played, I don't think he was required to do what a goalkeeper who's playing under Flick is required to do. So
Yeah, I don't think he's also one of those natural ball playing keepers like an Ederson, or it doesn't even have to be somebody tailored to the Flick style, right? He's not even somebody who's a great fit for Barca on paper, which
true.
it's not a problem for me, but that was clearly exposed in this game. And as for the highline, I disagree with you. I don't think a lot of goalkeeper, unless you have a Neuer from 2014, you really can't save games or at least maintain decent score lines when you are playing for this Barca. I think you are asking a lot out of goalkeepers with a suicidal defensive line.
It
Uh,
see, it is his style. Didn't all of us knew when he was named the Barcelona manager, he's going to do exactly this. And Barca simply did not have the resources to give him a good goalkeeper. That is the truth. So when they decided to make him the manager, Barcelona also knew what he was going to do. Fans also knew what he was going to do. And so far, as it been really bad? No. Is it going to cost you the league? Maybe yes, but it doesn't matter if it's a compromise between you going on like scoring 5 goals in the Champions League and winning the Champions League and finishing third in the league. I think Barcelona fans are going to take it. So it's like
oh,
right now,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So you're going to take it. So it really depends. It really depends. I don't know. Maybe Iñaki Peña, maybe he's doing his work in the training ground. Maybe he's going to come in and put in better performances, more assured performances. So you can always. The thing is, I would say Iñaki Peña has a better chance of doing it because Chesney with his age and everything, it will be
Yeah.
difficult to like training and everything. It will be difficult for him to change right now at this point in his career. Iñaki Peña might have to because this is modern football.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think Peña has a. Should he have started Peña? I thought so. When I thought Chesney in the starting lineup, I was a bit. Is he going for experience? Then if he's going to go for experience, maybe you should tell Chesney you don't have to do it all the time. If you think you're not comfortable with it, just clear it. Just clear it. But
I think the
so
biggest problem more than the highline was there was complete communication broke down just as you would expect from somebody who retired and is back on the football pitch for less than 3 months. in a foreign country he has never played in before with teammates he doesn't understand.
Hmm.
Because that Balde tackle was something else, man.
I think that is going to be like it'll be a meme for years, I feel.
Oh
So
yeah,
if he
absolutely.
had been injured seriously, I thought he was injured seriously
Oh,
when
yeah,
like watching it live, it's very easy to think like Balta was gone or something. That's a
yeah,
goalkeeper like rushing in and he hit Balta. I was like, and
yeah.
he just stood on the.
I
He
don't
was just
think Highline was the problem there.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That was a very school. If that is what you're asking, that is a very schoolboy error that can be
Yeah.
rectified. But don't you think Benfica goalkeeper's mistake was even funnier? Because
Man, that's just a freak 1 in a 10,000 accident or something. Can you even
yeah, that was.
categorize that as a mistake?
I
Stepping
would say
back.
both are 1 in a 10,000 scenario. Both
That's
like
true.
your goalkeeper taking out your own defender that resulting in a goal. He like but that Benfica goal is one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen. Like
Oh man.
there
You
was
the one against
nobody.
Benfica.
And why did he not pass it on the ground? Like that is one part I don't know. What was he thinking? Like was he trying to clear it to somebody, or what? Why
That's
was
what it
the ball not
looked
passed
like.
on the ground if he's trying to play out from the back? I don't. I watched the highlights multiple times. What is he trying to do?
I
And
know,
it didn't
right?
look like he mishit it either. I thought he had missed it. Like trying to send it like to the left of
Mm.
him, ended up being to the right or whatever. He slips. Nothing happens. He hits it straight
That's
to
the thing,
Rafinha
right?
side.
Like, the ball could have landed exactly in that 2x2 spot. It had to land there for Rafinha to
Yeah,
convert that into a goal. An
exactly.
inch here or there, that's a regular goalkeeping clearance mistake. For it to end as a goal, I've never seen a freaky, lucky break for Barca. At least I don't want to, exaggerate and say I
Yeah,
haven't seen anything like that before. But it's nice to be on the receiving end of lucky moments, especially in UCL,
yeah,
a
yeah.
format where we have been historically so unlucky. Even last season, we were cruising against PSG, and then Ronaldo had this Ronaldo Araujo, he had this brain fade moment. I think
I just
we
wanted
have
to
been
add.
long
I just want to add
overdue.
one point. You said
Mm.
lucky. I mean, it is true. It is lucky, but then you have to keep pressing, which is Flick's system. You have to keep pressing to make him do it also, and it is the same for Chesney. Like they have to press. You need to put in the effort to make Chesney think like, oh, I have to like put that to make him nervous. You need to put in some effort as a team. So that Barcelona did, that Benfica also did. So
That's true.
eventually that resulted in an error. That well,
Mm.
it was a very comical error, and that is another thing. But yeah,
Yeah, but
and I have
nice
one
to
question
see you take the
one
respect.
question.
Mm.
I think Lewandowski got very lucky with two of his penalties. If he didn't get those two penalties, I thought in this game would have come under very heavy criticism because
Yeah,
already he has been very heavily criticized past months.
yeah.
I thought this if we hadn't scored those two goals and if Benfica had ended up winning four
Proper
or
stat padding from Levin Disney.
yeah, he did because I thought when I looked at the scoreline like 60th minute or something, I thought there's a chance that Lewandowski might get dropped or anything because
Mm.
he has been under heavy criticism,
Yeah.
and I thought if Barca don't create anything and if he's not going to play any part in creating something, I thought this might be where it reaches a zenith and like the pressure gets too much for him to start and everything. But
Yeah.
he escaped with a couple of penalties. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
Also,
again,
mm.
do you think any similarities this had between this and the PSG game? Uh, when you had to like when you scored six to like qualify and everything.
And man, I don't think so. See, first of all, that was a knockout game, and we literally
Yeah,
had like a 1% chance of winning that game and proceeding to the next round. Mathematically, right? I don't think in terms of craze and the adrenaline rush, I was a lot more relaxed because Barca have been doing well, and even if
yeah,
you lost this game, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. So the PSG Roberto 6-1, that would still be my all-time number one game uh, as a Barca fan. Second would still be your Messi El Clasico, the one with the
yeah.
shirt and
That
the
3-2.
Bernabeu.
Yeah.
And this has certainly made the case for like a top three game
Top
in terms
three.
of purely in terms of entertainment value.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure
you
there
don't
are a
have
lot
to.
of
We don't have
other
to go
better.
that deep. Like
Yeah,
as a fan, like what do you think? So that is why. If it is top three, then it's definitely
it
all
could
time
have
in.
easily ended up being like top three worst games of all time if Rafinha didn't
True.
bury the ball. But
Yeah,
that's football for you.
yeah. That is football. Like it is part and parcel. I think time to move on to the next game. Uh,
Yeah, we are not getting a break in terms of discussing thrillers in
yeah,
this week's edition. Clearly,
yeah. I
um,
think Atletico Madrid had a in any other game week, their game everybody would be talking. So literally
I
everybody,
know,
any
right?
fan,
It was
yeah,
so
yeah,
crazy, but somehow Barca managed to overshadow that. But
yeah.
let's use the forum to celebrate Atletico. That was your typical Diego Simeone win, man. Like suffer till the 90th minute, lose a man to a red card, and then like give zero hopes to the fans. Then maybe you score an equalizer, and then you ultimately
And
come
I think
away.
then they got a red card. I think
Oh
then
yeah,
they
they
got a
did.
red card, but they did. But
Leverkusen, but they
Atleti
played a
majority
good
of the match they
40
played with.
minutes. Yeah,
Yeah. Atleti for the
exactly.
majority, yeah, they were at a
Mm,
disadvantage.
yeah,
It
they
was at
had no
one.
business even being, down by only one goal when Leverkusen got that red card.
Yeah. It was again. This had lesser errors or something than the. I would say this was a proper performance from Atleti, going down to 10 men, and I feel like we keep seeing it a lot from some of the teams. Like when they go to 10 men, they suddenly start like everybody starts focusing. There's no
Yeah.
space. They defended very well, so it's like they. I mean, Atleti has to be credited 100%. There was no
Mhm.
luck or anything here. Like
Yeah.
if they went down, yes, then they played with 10 men and then they won. And a lot of credit has to be given to Julian Alvarez
Yeah.
standing up and performing in these games will define you as a player. When
Yeah.
you're one man down or something, and as an attacker, you're in a Simeone team, and if you stand up and perform, like you are like endearing yourself to your fan base a lot more. These big UCL games is what creates superstars. So I think it's a huge game for Alvarez. He has been quietly performing a lot in La Liga.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were talking about this in the group, I was surprised when you brought up Alvarez's Atleti's top scorer this season. You,
He is.
you
He
would have
is.
all assumed it was Griezmann.
Yeah,
Oh,
we would
yeah,
have. We would have.
Atleti, they're performing well. Probably Griezmann's leading the pack with goals and assists, but it's actually not him. It's Alvarez, like you said, who has quietly had a breakthrough season, which is amazing for somebody to perform under Pep and then to come to a
And then
Simeone team.
come and perform under Simeone. He did struggle. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like he has this magical ability to play for any team or anything. He did struggle, and then he learned. He is the ultimate Diego Simeone footballer, I would say. So because he can press, he pressing comes naturally to him. He is to this day. There are many people in Twitter who keep saying he can play as a number 8 in the same Simeone team. So that is how good he is as a footballer, because he has played as an attacking number 8 in the Manchester City team when he was playing under Guardiola. So he's just so good. And then see his performances for Argentina. There also he has gone and performed. So
Yeah,
it's like three
I
different
actually had
managers,
to.
three different teams,
Mm,
and he has been good everywhere he has gone.
yeah.
So yeah,
Like you said, in a lot of ways, he's actually made for a team like Simeone's rather than Pep Guardiola's. He has that pedigree and hunger that you only see from the likes of Suarez.
yeah.
So he's always pressing. He has this, rabid dog-like mentality where he's gonna keep hounding until he sees an opportunity, he sees some
It is a
space.
bit of it was a right comparison with Suarez, I would say. I think it's also a bit of South American thing, especially Uruguay, Argentina. You see a lot of like footballers like these. So they're just always in the game. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah,
Suarez might not have the ball.
Rafinha. So these people, even when they have a bad game, they still end up with the 7 on 10 performance because they
Yeah.
are not always relying on your what is this favela or this fancy footwork that
True.
Brazilians
Very
generally.
efficient,
Yeah,
and I think these footballers they are like a dream for many modern day
I know,
managers. I would
right?
say.
I mean, like you
But
have one of
Simeone is
the
not a
best.
modern day manager. Don't get me wrong. But I think Alvarez could go and play tomorrow. He could play under whoever Nagelsmann. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He could
Mm,
go under another manager and he will play well because he has a really good understanding of the game.
yeah.
Credit to Manchester City for understanding that he could play a variety of roles, bringing him to England early in his career.
Yeah.
So he I don't think he scored 20 goals or 25 goals in the Argentina league. If I'm because when Manchester City bought him, it kind of came out of the blue. He was a superstar, but then he was not one of those 20 goals that was we see a lot in Brazil. Some youngster coming up 20 goals in the league, 15 goals in the league. He then makes a big money move. I think they understood that tactically he's very flexible and he could fit and like understand and play a variety of roles. And being under Pep, now under Simeone, he has tried, which is a huge achievement, I have to say. And they also bought Sorloth because I think Simeone was not sure. Because he
yeah.
also got Sorloth so that, and he played Sorloth and Griezmann in some games also. But then now he's a starter for sure. Rest of the season he's going to start. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorloth, I think since Yannick Carrasco days, for the first time they've had somebody really good on the left side of attack, I would say. I think I saw firsthand when he punished Barca. I think he is also, him and Alvarez just complement each other so well, man.
Sorloth is
Um,
Sorloth and Alvarez are very much like a very 90s like a strike duo. One
yeah, you're
shorter, more
Barclays man.
hardworking, another one 6 foot, and
Yeah.
he would get on the end of crosses and everything. But if both of them can play together, the thing is, Griezmann eventually, I think Simeone is trying to phase out Griezmann slowly. So
Oh yeah,
he
absolutely.
is aging, and I think he's trying to phase him out. I think eventually it will result in Sorloth and Alvarez starting games.
Yeah.
But for now, 100% Alvarez is going to start every game. And right now, he's very deservingly a superstar. Because many
Yeah.
of these hard-working forwards, they don't get their due. So in these kind of performances, when they score the winner or something, it makes the world like see them for what they are,
That's
appreciate
true.
them.
In fact, I would say that is the difference between somebody like Griezmann when he played at Barca versus somebody like an Alvarez or even Rafinha at Barca. They have the same work ethic. They would defend, they would attack. But Griezmann, unfortunately, he couldn't have the end product in the Barca system enough number of times, which made people believe that he was a failure signing. I always loved Griezmann at Barca.
Yeah, and it is not his
Every
fault that
manager would
Barca
love
ended
to
up
have
paying
somebody like
100
that.
million. The problem with the modern discourse, football discourse on Twitter is you always put the price tag on the player. You say Griezmann came for 120 million, but then Griezmann did not decide that 120 million. He decided his own weekly salary. That is on him. You can't blame him for at Barcelona giving them 120 million. That is not his. It's the same for Dembele. It's the same for any player. So it's like, again, there are so many forwards.
What do you mean you're going to make a rational discussion about transfers and money on a YouTube show?
It is. But see, Griezmann is a superstar. I'd give you. I know who I'm attacking right here. I'll give an example. Marcus Rashford, superstar. Griezmann, superstar. Griezmann comes to Barca, doesn't play well, but there's not a game where you can like point at him and say you didn't work hard enough in that game. Marcus Rashford, you can say 50 games. The United fans themselves will say. That is the difference. There are very few superstar players when things are not going their way. They'll still give their everything for the team, defend. So it is a luxury to have somebody like a Griezmann.
I
It
know,
is a
right?
luxury to have somebody like a Rodrigo also same. It is the same category. So it is a
yeah.
luxury to have these players. So yeah.
So I always have this hot take that I really don't care about your 9 on 10 players who would on another day just as casually drop a 2 on 10 performance. And there are no exceptions to this. Even Mbappe, we saw in that Clasico how dreadful he was. There are somebody like a Griezmann, or I know I keep bringing up Rafinha, like Luis Diaz from Liverpool is a fantastic example. These are players who, even on their worst days, they would still give something to the team. Randomly, they would come in and clear a goal on the defensive side of things. It's just a manager's dream to have players like that.
It is. I think I'm not going to price Atleti more or Atleti players more. I think I'm done for like till this is for till April or something. This is the most I'm going to price an Atleti player. So I'm done.
All right. I think we have to, man, we actually spent the entire time talking about Atleti and not a word about Bayern Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso, the superstar manager, hotshot incoming Madrid guy.
I think he could look at this game and think, this is for his team. This is like a good exposure because they went to Wanda. It's not like Bayer Leverkusen have been playing at Wanda or Bernabeu or whatever. These stadiums can be very intimidating for his teams and for his players who might not have like a very frequent experience of playing in UCL or whatever. This is a big learning lesson for them to how to handle pressure. They really shouldn't have been. Once Atleti have been 10-man down, you could concede a goal, yes, but then you don't go again. You don't go 10-man down yourself. And that was silly on their part, and that comes with lack of experience and everything.
To be fair, it was a second yellow, so there is always that debate. It was also a shoulder on shoulder tackle.
Yeah, but then it is managerial. Yeah, true. I understand your point, but it is on the part of a manager. He should be aware, like he's on a yellow. You could substitute him.
Oh
You still
yeah,
have resources. You still have
yeah.
resources. So
Mm.
it is you who should be predicting the game that he's on a yellow and that there's a winger running towards him or whatever. And if they are trying to target him because he's on a yellow, which happens a lot in football. So as a manager, he's also learning, and for his players, it's not a bad defeat. I would say these kind of defeats teach you a lot. So it's not defeat something that will hurt him also.
Yeah,
I think he will take this
in
defeat in
stride.
a good way rather than a very
Mm.
like in a very disappointed or moody way.
All right. Speaking of Xabi Alonso and the inevitable move to Real Madrid, Real Madrid
Inevitable
have
move.
only.
Carlo Ancelotti 2 days back said he's
I
planning
know
for
he
4 more
said it
years.
on I was so happy we cut a cake in the Barca fan club in the UK. I really wish he wasn't kidding around, man. I want Real Madrid to have.
I don't mind losing a Clasico if we're gonna end up winning the league and Champions League like every year. Lose Clasico final, I'll take that. I'll take that bargain any day.
I'll tell you what, if Real Madrid is going to keep Carlo for the next 4 years, I don't mind conceding the league this time or the next time. It's still good enough.
No, this is Spurs mentality. This is what you call Spurs mentality, and this will cost you the league. If this is what players think, then yeah.
Hey, our league is already gone, man. I don't care which one of the Madrid teams win the league at this point. We
You
also
can
have
play
to
the
be
underdog
realistic.
gimmick for now, but yeah. For the next 1 month, you're allowed it.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Real Madrid resurgence, we must say. Did you see it coming? Or was it always a given that, hey, yeah, we lost a couple of games here and there? Nothing shameful in losing against a team like Liverpool, who have been absolutely electric all season. So it's always going to be a matter of time before we pulled it together. Or was that your mentality as a fan?
Yeah, I don't think the Liverpool defeat hurt. Like, I mean, obviously it's a big game, so more people will end up talking about it. And at Real Madrid, you have these set of fans who only watch UCL, which I've seen a lot in Twitter. Real Madrid, especially Real Madrid, has these like a set of fans who watch these big games and comment on these big games. The defeat that really hurt like true Real Madrid fans, or those who worry about tactic daily, like what you're going to do next week, was the ones that came before. I think it was Lille away, which we lost. So and then there is another game which we lost, which you shouldn't. These are the games you shouldn't lose. Liverpool at Anfield was always going to be different. They were on top of the table when we went. That is always going to be a very difficult one. So before the losses before that are the one that hurts you the most. So what you remember as a proper fan is the draw at Las Palmas. These are the things that you remember. The one at Anfield will be talked about more, but one in which you tactically get exposed, like Lille away, where nothing worked. We were not creating anything, and we ended up losing. So that those are the games that I looked at those games and thought, like, how exactly are we going to create if you're going to play like all four players, Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Mbappe? So how are we going to create if we're going to go on? I thought Brahim Diaz was our best creator. So if he's not going to fit in any of our starting 11s, and I thought we are really going to struggle. But Bellingham has realized that he cannot do the role that he was doing previous season, and he has settled into a more of a midfielder role now. And I think that has helped both the forwards a lot more. And I think forwards themselves are coming to the game a lot. I think Mbappe is now frequently part of the game, always 90 minutes. He finally has that thing where okay, I have to be there. For the 90 minutes I have to be there. It doesn't matter I score a goal or not score a goal. He has been playing with this mentality for a good 1-2 months, I would say now. Where he's always chasing the ball. He's doing something. It's not like he's pressing. Don't get me wrong. Not chasing the ball when you don't have it. But then he's willing to make that run. He's just willing to engage.
Yeah, this is something that I brought up. I have been bringing up from match day 2, if you recall. Mbappe is inevitable. He's just too good of a player for him to not come good. It was only going to be a matter of time before all this intimidation surrounding the Bernabeu, him getting carried away with the Real Madrid aura.
Yeah.
It was just a phase, man. And now it's very evident to see he's clicking in attack. And him and Vinicius have actually combined better than I expected. Expected Mbappe to be a lot more frustrated with Vinny, to be honest, because he's clearly no longer the superstar. But it feels like he has come to terms with what his role in the Real Madrid setup is. He's not going to get that Cristiano Ronaldo treatment when he moved from Manchester United. But this is going to be more like, yes, you are one of the main focal points of attack, but we also have a couple of other players who are just as important.
It is true. Like, I think it was the same with, see, if Cristiano hadn't performed, there was always Benzema. And when he came, Higuain was also there. So if he hadn't, in Madrid, if a star player doesn't perform, there is always two more star players waiting to take your spot, especially if you're a forward. So it's like, it was the same for Cristiano Ronaldo. The thing is, I would say do not compare the proportion of goals he's going to score with what Ronaldo scored or whatever. Because also there was Messi was always going to chase him down. So it is competition that makes you score that extra 5-10 goals. It is competition that makes you be fit, makes you play for like 37-38 games. There is nobody chasing you. Mbappe is not he's gonna rest if he reaches the Champions League semi-final. And there's a couple of La Liga games. I don't think Mbappe is going to care about the golden boot or whatever. Because modern day football, people are okay with. I would say people are more okay with resting. That individual that going for golden boot, maybe that mentality, I don't think he has. I don't think he shares that with Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think he's the one who is going to go for golden boot if that means if a Champions League semi-final tie is coming up on a Wednesday. So I think he'll be okay to rest. So that is one thing. And Mbappe personally, in an interview, said the Athletic Bilbao defeat has changed him. He literally said that game changed me, and I've been approaching games differently since then. I don't know how much tactically, whether he was speaking tactically or mentally, I'm not 100% sure. But he did say that game changed him. So that particular defeat changed him because he missed a penalty. So he missed a penalty. So I think maybe he has put in more effort or whatever to be in the game. So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost shocking that people are writing him off simply because he hasn't come into the mold of your typical Real Madrid Galactico signing, like how Bellingham did, or even Gareth Bale in his first season. So the expectations around him were disproportionate, obviously, which is understandable given all the drama around the transfer itself. But even without that, I think he's slowly finding his feet. And if it weren't Mbappe with his aura and everything, if you compared his performances as a new player coming into a new country in a team like Real Madrid, I would say he has had, in fact, his first season, you could almost compare it to what Neymar had when he moved from Brazil to Barcelona.
I think,
not
you're right.
Not lighting the world alight, but definitely solid contributions, and you only know it's going to get better from there. That is all you can ask when you try to integrate a Galactico signing into a team in the caliber of Madrid or Barca at the end of the day. All right. So I guess we are 30 minutes in. That's our Spanish report card.
Special mention to Girona. They are the only ones. They lost again to Milan. So thank you for showing the world that Spanish teams are not inevitable. So Girona keeps showing the world that. So special mention for them. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a Manchester City academy club, I would say they are doing just fine.
Better than Manchester City. No, they don't have the same money. So yeah, they don't have the same money, and so they didn't even get any investment in. They are going to paying UCL for the first time. They couldn't sign a single player. So.
Hey, didn't they get like 60 million or something with their
sale of Fabinho?
So yeah.
They didn't invest it back now. They didn't invest that 60 million back. They're still constructing their own stadium and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, better than Manchester City. City are going to get eliminated, then yeah. Then there's no point.
Right. That brings us to the Premier League teams and City. I know you are a Liverpool fan.
It feels very happy. As a football fan itself, it feels like, I don't know. I mean, PSG is also an oil club, but I don't know. City personally, it feels a bit more sort of.
Well, I know, right? It's almost like City has been the architect of several of your heartbreaks, and you just don't care about PSG enough because they are in a different league.
It is true. Like also PSG, they come into. Would you say they have gone out of? I don't know. They're not as relevant as they were once before because of lack of superstars. Yeah.
PSG keeps shooting themselves in the foot. We don't have the time to,
we don't have the time to troll them, or maybe. They have a superstar. Look at this. They have a superstar manager, Luis Enrique, who has, who won everything at Barcelona. Yet it almost seems like he could lose 2 league games and go without like any online criticism. Maybe I would put it like that.
Oh yeah,
Online Twitter criticism at the very least.
nobody cares.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure in a stadium, the stadium is going to be full. Like fans are going to boo him if he don't
Yeah.
play well or whatever. But he escapes that scrutiny, even though he's a superstar manager and everything. And his
Yeah,
club invest how much did they invest in Colomani? 90 million,
Colomani,
and now they have loaned Juventus.
or
So it's
the
like,
other guy,
yeah,
Gonzalo Ramos.
exactly. Gonzalo Ramos. They just keep investing, and they keep getting away with it these days because like these players don't carry the same gravitas as a Neymar or a Mbappe or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true.
So yeah, it was funny, but it was satisfying. Again, PSG kind of clicked in the last 30 minutes and scored all those goals. Dembele came in, the game changed. So I don't
Yeah,
know. That is this is shameless because if Dembele had put a stinker, I saw so many fans online. If he had put a stinker, he would have celebrated it again. He performs also, you're celebrating. I don't know how it
I am
works
not,
both ways.
man. This was just a joke. I absolutely loathe Dembele for how he left us high and dry, and I wish him all the bad luck,
All the worst.
all the worst, and everything. Just don't get injured. That's unfortunate for any footballer. You don't want that, but keep
You wanted to keep putting
underperforming.
on stinkers by being
Thinkers,
good.
exactly.
That is, I've
Um,
never seen somebody criticize in such a. I don't know. This is progressive criticism, I would say.
Thank you. I'll take it. I don't want you to get injured. Just
But
do
keep
enough.
putting on stinkers.
Yeah, that's all I can ask for. Hey,
He's playing.
obviously,
Just to mention
mm,
him. He has been playing well recently. To those who don't follow League One, which of which there
that
are many,
hurts. That's
so
hurtful to
he has
say
been
to a Barca
there.
fan.
He has been their main player, and he has been assisting. He has been scoring. So he is right now. I don't know why Luis Enrique didn't start him. Maybe injury issue or whatever. Nobody knows anything about PSG anymore. Like I asked a couple of people, was he injured? Like nobody cares and nobody knows. So it's like City.
Oh
Everybody knows.
my God,
Everybody's
what a
waiting.
fall
Nunes at
from
right
grace.
back. Like I feel a bit for Pep Guardiola. Like people are waiting. He put Nunes at right, waiting like he's gonna do something. And again, we can criticize Pep tactically, criticize Pep for his managing players. Everything happened, and yeah, and I would
Come
say
on, do something.
I can't. I don't know how Pep feels right now if he's going to get eliminated. If he's going to, it's a legit question because they're gonna
I
lose
mean,
out
he
on
did
money on
come
it.
out and say it's on the cards. We have to face the reality. So we know how he feels about it. Who are City playing against? Leipzig in the last round.
Was it? Is it Leipzig? If it is Leipzig, it's going to be it's going to be another good game.
I'm
But
actually
they
not.
have not been playing well in the league.
I'm
But
gonna look up who they are playing while you review City's downfall as a Liverpool
they are
fan.
playing Club Brugge at home, which is a very easy.
Oh yeah.
It's an easy game for them. But and it's at Etihad, so
Hmm.
they should just sneak into top 24. So they should.
I'm wondering if I should just go watch the game. I've been
You
tempted
should
to.
because they'll give you free tickets. Nobody will watch that game. Don't worry about it. They'll sell the tickets and everything, and it'll be. So I think it should be easy to go and watch the game. If Club Brugge defeats them in Etihad and if they get eliminated,
That
you
would
can
be
tell
one
this game
media.
to your kids, Chris. You can tell this game because as the like start of the downfall of City or whatever, and that you are
Yeah.
there. If it's an achievement, yeah, you can definitely tell. So yeah, I think it's an easy game which they should win. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Moving on to other Premier League clubs, that would be Arsenal, who had a routine 3-0 victory. Martinelli showed up, and so did Kai Havertz. I don't have much on that game, but we'll move on to Liverpool. Again, another routine win, I would say, but you being a
It was not
Liverpool
a
fan first, I
no. I
want
wouldn't.
you to,
It's
yeah.
been it's the kind of a routine win that has been coming under slot. I would say, not entirely. Not they didn't do well for like 90. I would say they didn't do well for 90 minutes. They did end up. Did they deserve to win? Yeah. There has been a lot of games under slot like these. You cannot really point against Liverpool and say they didn't deserve to win. But then were they in the game for 90 minutes? Did they command the game and win it? No. It's like, and I'm getting a bit I don't know. It feels like one like you could turn up for one Liverpool game and think, oh, they are playing like an Arne Slot team, and another game where you think like they're playing like a Klopp team still. So it's like it still feels like, I don't know, like they're able to mix and match the identity, and right now they're reaping rewards for it. But
That's
I
true.
don't know. I don't know. And this game was not. They didn't command the game for 90 minutes. If that is what
The fact
you're
that
asking.
they
So, yeah.
didn't do that and ended up with 3 points is always a positive
Is
sign,
it is
right?
the sign of a champion team,
Yeah.
because, and again in this match there is not lot at stake for them. They were 6-0 in the table coming into it. They still made that effort,
Yeah.
played well, and won. So it's like they didn't play for 90 minutes, but
Yeah.
they did make that effort, won. So it should be credited. So
I
yeah,
think Liverpool's biggest test was Real Madrid, and suffice to say they passed that with flying colors.
they did.
I'm really eager to see them do well against much bigger oppositions in the course of the tournament. As things stand, Liverpool and Barca can only meet in the finals. That's another way of saying there is a good chance that two of the best teams in Europe this season might not actually meet each other after all. But that would be a good final to watch for a neutral.
Yeah, I think you're thinking too ahead, Chris. Final is there. We are there, Chris. There's something. There's a club. We have a few trophies and everything. So, and we have
See,
done
the
this.
problem is, as a Barca fan, it's been ages since we got to this stage of the tournament. So as soon as you cross the group stage, I'm like, oh, what is the next game? Okay, when is the finals? Where is the finals? Is the mentality at this point. And credit to Hansi Flick for actually
Optimism.
instilling
Optimism
that
is the word here,
confidence, right? Yeah.
because last season, even when, I think you qualified for the knockouts in one of those seasons. Even then, none of the Barcelona fans said
Yeah.
final is this date. We'll be here or whatever.
Yeah,
But then
exactly.
this time there is, especially after this kind of victory, there is a sense
Yeah.
of confidence that
Oh,
we
yeah, absolutely.
can make a comeback away from home. And don't
Mm.
get me wrong, you can. Portuguese league is not a weaker league. Benfica is not a weak opposition.
Yeah.
They have a very good home support. So
Oh, yeah.
the players were able to come, like they were up against it, they won.
Yeah.
So it's like
Mm.
now you can say, right, we can win under pressure, which is very essential for Champions League. So
Yeah.
now they'll definitely approach the knockouts with more confidence and everything.
Mhm.
So yeah, optimism is the word. So it's like you can like, okay, I'll
Thanks,
be
man.
there in the finals. Yeah.
All right. I think that wraps up our episode of Spanish Report Card in this week's UCL. I can't wait for the final match days. I'm so glad Barca and Liverpool for you. We are both out of crosshairs. We can kind of sit back and see what the other teams are doing. It is going to be a relaxed week. I can't remember the last time that happened to us. So that's a welcome change, I would say. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you again when we do this next time for UCL.
My pleasure. Thank you. See you next time.